Hey there everyone, it's CandyEvie here and welcome to the first video in my Pokemon trivia series. It's not really a series though, more of just a collection of similarly titled videos. Basically where I want to talk about something random that's Pokemon related that isn't a top 10 or some kind of list. It was the best thing I could think of, I'm sorry. But let's get on with today's video. Today I'm going to do something of a character study of Red, telling you everything there is to know about probably the most well-known trainer of the main series games. So, where do we even start? Red has probably been represented in different forms of media more than any other character to date. Well, we'll start with his appearances in-game. In the main series games, Red has appeared in 5 out of 6 of the generations so far. Of course, his first appearance was in Pokemon Red and Green, which would be where his name comes from, just like the rival's official name is Green in Japan, and Blue everywhere else to match up with the first 2 games released. Though prior to Generation 2, he was officially known as Satoshi, just like his anime counterpart. His design varies depending on the source. His hair and eye color is consistently shown to be black. The majority of sources show him with red and white sneakers and blue jeans. His jacket is consistently white and red, but different sources show the pockets as being white or red. On the back of his jacket there's a yellow Pokeball. I'm guessing that this was an early design for the Pokeball because the closest thing to a yellow Pokeball in the games will be the Pokeball introduced 3 generations later. His design is pretty simple, but the various designs for his hat are all over the place. Again, it's consistently red and white, but some artwork shows different parts being white and red. Official sprite artwork from the game shows a circular design feature on the front of his hat. It could be intended to look like a Pokeball, but it does look awfully like these badges that feature in some of the official pieces of artwork. I'm pretty sure this was how gym badges were originally meant to look, as the designs of these two look awfully similar to the Cascade and Earth badges. There's also artwork for what appears to be a very early design for Red. He looks pretty similar, except he's wearing boots instead of sneakers and his cap features a Pokeball. In Generation 1, he's 11 years old, but he's referred to as 10 in the European releases for some reason. Red isn't really shown to have much of a personality in these games, purely because he's the player character. But if the events of the main story and Red's other appearances are anything to go off of, then it can be assumed that Red is a person with a strong sense of justice and truly loves Pokemon. Red's actions in Generation 1 under the control of the player include receiving a starter Pokemon, leaving Pallet Town, defeating all 8 gyms, taking down Team Rocket, and becoming champion. The events of Gold and Silver take place 3 years after those of Red and Blue, making Red 14 at the time of these games. This time, he serves as a sort of final trainer of the game, beyond even the champion in the aftergame, as Mount Silver can't even be accessed until all 16 gyms have been defeated. This battle is definitely a fan favorite, if not the most well-loved final battle ever. I mean, come on, you're battling yourself. Well, sorta. In this game, his sprite is almost identical to the one used in Yellow, only being mirrored. His team consists of very iconic Pokemon that represent the events of Generation 1 pretty well. There's Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, and Pikachu to start off. These are all of the mascots of the games released in Generation 1, all of which can be obtained in Yellow version. Espeon was likely obtained as an Eevee in Celadon City, Snorlax from either Route 12 or 16, and the Lapras he uses in Heart Gold and Soul Silver was likely obtained from the Silph Co building. His next in-game appearance would of course be in Generation 1's remakes, Fire Red and Leaf Green. His in-game actions don't really change too much with the exception of the added aftergame. He also now has a female counterpart. Red's design did change a lot between Generation 1 and its remakes. He now has brown hair and brown eyes. His shoes, jacket, and bag have all changed colours too. His hat retains the same colour scheme but now has a different design. This design for Red seems to be the most accurate one, as it has been used ever since in many different forms of media. And of course, he does appear in Generation 2's remakes, being Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The only things that have changed would be his design and his team. His Espeon has been replaced with a Lapras. His Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur now know the new moves Frenzy Plant, Blast Burn, and Hydro Cannon. His Pikachu also knows Volt Tackle, as well as having the same moveset as Ash's Pikachu during the Diamond and Pearl section of the anime. Another new addition would be that after you defeat Red, all Pokemon in your party receive the newly added Legend Ribbon. Red's final in-game appearance is in Black and White 2, participating in the Champions Tournament. His team is identical to the one used in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, with a few changes to movesets. It's never stated in-game how many years apart the events of Generation 4 are from those of the original Black and White, but it is known that the events of Black and White 2 take place 2 years after those of the original Black and White, which puts Red's age anywhere upward of 16. Fun bit of trivia: Red doesn't speak at all in-game, only replying with silence once spoken to. However, in Generation 1 and 3, when talking to the copycat, Red's speech is actually shown, serving as the only time he has ever been shown to speak in the games. But that's all there is for Red's main series appearances. But trust me, we're not done yet. Next, we're going to move on to Red's appearances in other games. Red's first side series appearance was in Pokemon Stadium 2 as the final battle of the game. His round 1 team consists of a Meganium, Feraligatr, Typhlosion, Jolteon, Scizor, and Tauros, while his round 2 team consists of Raikou, Entei, Suicune, Dragonite, Snorlax, and Espeon. His portrait in this game does have some minor differences to his design at the time of Generation 1. Again, he wears what appears to be an early design of the Earth badge on his cap, which is a trait shared only with one other piece of official artwork. To me, his hair looks a little more brown than the official artwork of Generation 1, so tell me what you think. Red doesn't actually make an appearance in the story mode of Colosseum and XE Gale of Darkness, but he is available as a playable character if the player uses a Fire Red or Leaf Green cartridge, with Red chosen as the player character. Naturally, in these games he sports the same outfit as in Fire Red and Leaf Green. He also does appear in a trailer for Pokemon Battle Revolution, using a Wailord and a Deoxys, though he didn't actually appear in the game. The last entry for Red's appearances in actual video games would be in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Red doesn't actually fight himself, but he's joined by Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard who all take turns and battle on his behalf. Red actually does appear in one more game, being the trading figure game, in its very first set. A recolor of this same figure was also released in the second expansion, though that's not the only time that Red has appeared in merchandise by any means. Wait, what's that? Time for a mini section? Well, okay. A brand of popular posable chibi figures in Japan would be Nendoroid. If you watch my videos for a long time, then you would notice that I used to use them in the background of my shiny hunting videos. But anyway, Red has received more Nendoroid versions than any other Pokemon character, with 3. The first of which shows him in his Fire Red and Leaf Green outfit with the 3 Kanto starters. But if you want to buy this one, please be aware because there are many bootlegs of it. This figure was later re-released with the Kanto starters in their fully evolved forms. The next figure is part of a double pack that also features the rival of Red and Blue. Red sports his look from the original Red and Green. This one also comes with a Mew figure. Aside from Nendoroids, there isn't really a lot of official merchandise featuring Red. There are plenty of Ash Ketchum figures out there, but we'll get to that later. Though a high-quality Japanese figure company named Kotobukiya is going to release a Red and Pikachu figure later on this year. This figure, like the other Red Nendoroid, sports his Generation 1 outfit, complete with gym badge. Now, Red has had a lot of manga counterparts, probably more than any other character. The first we're going to talk about would be Pokemon Adventures. I haven't read too much of the manga, and admittedly I only own the first volume, but I'll tell you what I can without really giving anything away, which is far different from the games. In the manga, his design is very similar to the one from the Generation 1 games, with a few minor differences. His hair is longer and he has red eyes instead of black. His cap is almost always upturned, but on the back, he has a simple black pin, similar to the badge seen in the official art. In the manga, he starts his journey with a Poliwhirl instead of one of the starter Pokemon or Pikachu, but he does come to acquire both a Bulbasaur and a Pikachu pretty early on. The Pokemon Adventures manga is a long-running series, but so far Red has appeared in the Red, Green, and Blue chapters, the Yellow chapter, Gold, Silver, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald chapters, and while he doesn't actually appear until later on, he is mentioned in the Diamond and Pearl chapter and is seen in a flashback in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver chapter. And most recently, he actually did feature in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire chapter. Next up, we're gonna take a look at the Pokemon Pocket Monsters manga. The Red in this manga is quite clearly based on the Red from the games, with the only differences to his design being the color of his shirt and shoes. This manga is very different from Adventures, not only in the mechanics of the Pokemon world, but it has a lot more humorous themes too. Pokemon can talk, and Red's sidekick is a Clefairy. In this manga, Red's counterpart is named Isamu Akai, which does sound random, but Akai actually contains the Japanese word Aka for red. Now we're going to take a look at Pokemon Zensho, which is pretty much the manga version of the games, following it much more closely than any other manga before or since. Red's counterpart in this game looks almost identical to his previous designs, with the exception of some new finger gloves. In this manga, he's named Satoshi, just like his counterpart from the anime, but you've got to remember that around this time Red was officially known as Satoshi. This manga was never translated into English, which really sucks because it really does sound awesome. Next is another manga that has never been translated into English. Pokemon Gotta Catch 'Em All. This manga stars a young boy named Shu and his Pikachu. Shu is clearly based off Red, but his outfit looks very different to the official game artwork. I would say that out of all the versions of Red we've seen so far, Shu looks the most like Red from the Adventures manga. This manga is a series of unrelated short stories centered around, well, catching Pokemon. It really does take the whole gotta catch 'em all phrase to heart. And his final manga appearance would be in Pocket Monsters Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Joe's Big Adventure. This manga is based on Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so of course it isn't centered around Red, but he does make an appearance in the final chapter for the Battle atop Mount Silver. This is yet another manga that never even saw an English translation. Now it's time to move on to anime, though this isn't going to be as big of a section as you might have thought. Obviously, the Pokemon anime stars Ash Ketchum, a character directly based off of Red, but at this point, Ash is a character in his own right, so I didn't really think that it would be a good idea to talk about Ash in great length in a video that's about Red. It's the same reason why I didn't mention the Electric Tailor Pikachu manga in the previous section, because it's based off the anime and not the games. But the main Pokemon anime that we all know isn't the only thing we can talk about. The other example would be Pokemon Origins. Released 10 days prior to X and Y, it served as a treat to those fans who had loved Pokemon since the start. And to promote Mega Charizard X. It's like a movie, but it was split into 4 different parts, each covering the storyline of Pokemon Red and Green. So of course, it stars Red, not Ash. Red's design in this special is pretty much exactly the same as the design from Fire Red and Leaf Green. All I can really say about this special is that it is stunning. You can argue that the main Pokemon anime is based on the games, but it doesn't really follow the path of the Pokemon games like Pokemon Origins does. It's like an animated version of Red's journey in the Generation 1 games. The only real difference being the fact that instead of controlling Red, we're actually watching him, so we get to see a lot more of his personality. All I can really say about this special, if you haven't already seen it, would be just watch it now. Well, I feel like I've covered all there is about Red. Do let me know what you think of this new style of video. I think analyzing more characters in the future would be fun, but the majority of them wouldn't be as long as this video, due to just how much there is to say about Red. Which is ironic, seeing as he doesn't really say anything at all. If you enjoy Pokemon trivia, then maybe you'd enjoy my video talking about 10 of the strangest things in Pokemon. Or click this video instead to take a look at some Easter eggs in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. But for now, that's all for now from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!